Hi, I'm Steve Jarris, and I'm the Studio Creative Director at Volition.
My fellow Americans, my fellow saints, today is a day unlike any other day that has come before it. For on this day, we must administer the biggest smackdown in the history of mankind. We free America.
All right, well, that's something that we're not announcing right now, but we definitely show in the beginning of the game what the player does to become the President of the United States. It was actually really important for us to go and show that progression. As stands for 1, you're a gang member. Stands for 2, you're a gang leader. Stands for 3, you're a pop culture icon. And so now it stands for 4, you are the leader of the free world. And so showing how you become the President of the United States was very important to us. So we do that. Then we go into our West Wing level. We can kind of go and see what it's like to be a president. That's what we're showing off today. And then from there, we get into the open world insanity of a Zinyak simulation.
Free America.
When aliens go and attack a planet, common operating procedure is to abduct the leaders of the nation, right? Now, of the country, of the world, not knowing in this case that the leader of America is a sociopathic killing machine. So when they abduct the president, they don't realize that they're taking into their ship this totally destructive force of nature. So in the beginning of the game, all of the people who have been abducted are placed in these like virtual prisons to go and break down their will and make them subservient to Zinyak. And so in the beginning, when you're put in this one simulation, he thinks that this is going to go and imprison you successfully. However, because the player is the player and a killbot, he goes and escapes, and that fuels the rest of the game moving forward. So a lot of that simulation is a virtual space intended to go and break your will, but because the player is the player, he learns how to go and control it to break free, and then he starts going between the real world and the virtual world to try to go and combat the alien menace.
We free America.
Well, I mean, The Matrix is awesome, and that's totally true. But the biggest thing is about Saints Row 3 is such a crazy game, right? Like, it was really out there. And when that comes out and it's well received, it's like, okay, where do we go, right? What do we go and do to up ourselves? And so then you try to figure out what's the thing that makes sense for the game. What do you think would be fun for the player? At Volition, 2 of our big mantras are embrace the crazy and fun trumps all. And so we try to figure out what would be really fun. So superpowers are really fun. But how do we go and justify superpowers? What are the things that we can go and do to make the player have those? And then you start looking at those avenues. Then you also have to look at, now that you have superpowers, who is an antagonist that you can go and fight? Because, like, killing a gang member, I mean, whatever, you can go and jump over a building and throw an ice blast, what's a gang member going to do with an Uzi? So, and then, okay, if we bring aliens, we can have alien weaponry, we can have a wide variety of enemy types, we can have a bunch of different ways for them to engage you, and this allows for us to go and kind of have an enemy that's worthy of a superhero. And so that's kind of how we start making those choices to create that.
We free America.
Well, it's about progression. The build that you're playing today, a lot of the powers are already unlocked, and we've also upgraded them for you. Basically, as you progress through the story missions, new powers become unlocked. But then, if you notice, there's all those orbs, those clusters that are around the world that you can go and pick up, and then it says, clusters 7 or 8 picked up. You expend those resources to go and upgrade your powers to make you jump higher, make you run faster, make your fire do more damage. And there's 1,255 of those in the world, right? And so there's a lot of things that you have to go and do to find those and upgrade them yourself. And so basically we let the player go and choose his pace and how he goes and explores that. If he just blazes through the game, his powers aren't going to be upgraded as high, and it's going to be a lot more challenging through the game. But if you start taking time to go and find all the collectibles, use the collectibles to upgrade your powers, now you're getting powerful, but you're also spending a lot of time investment to go and get to that point. And so it feels a good amount of effort for the player. It's been well received.
We free America.
Oh man, so it's weird because there's 4 base powers that you switch from. from an offensive standpoint. However, those powers have a lot more layers to them than what you're seeing, because you can actually customize those powers to function slightly differently. So for instance, you saw Blast as an ice attack that goes and freezes people, but you also can go and change out like that sort of power to be a fire blast. And so there's things that you can go and do to start modifying it. And I think my favorite thing we're not actually showing yet. But as far as a superpower goes, I love jumping around. I think that it totally changes the way that I navigate through the city. You start seeing all these different rooftops and you're moving around. It's awesome. It's a total game changer. And for me, I spend hours picking up those damn clusters just because I really enjoy that feeling of moving point to point.
We free America.
It's kind of like one big fever dream. At the company, we really are collaborative people. I think Saints really kind of embraces our culture as a company. It's really great when you have a group of people that are just empowered to just kind of have fun. And because our game is so absurdist, we're not bound by normal rules of reality, right? We don't have to worry about, oh, well, why would we have a villain quoting Shakespeare all the time? We think it'll be fun, let's go and do it. And so like when you start having these crazy elements, you start finding other crazy elements that complement it in a beautiful way, because both things are just as absurd, but when your benchmark is to create something that's kind of whimsical, it gives you so much more room to play. And it basically becomes this great game of one-upsmanship, where it's like, oh, I had this crazy idea, oh, that's so amazing, but because if we do that, that's a perfect end, because I've always wanted to do this. You know, like we have our bad guy, our bad guy's a lover of literature, and we knew he wanted this kind of erudite person, because we thought it'd be really funny that Saints Row is always, you know, it's so much chaotic and, you know, superpowers and so silly. Why not have a bad guy be someone who's very prim and proper, and like he quotes Shakespeare and loves literature? And because you have those juxtapositions, then it's like, what can we do that's funny with that? And so then we have a radio station where the main bad guy reads the entire first chapter of Pride and Prejudice. And so you can just go and hear someone reading Jane Austen. And it just creates this very funny moment that we normally would never have, because why would you ever have someone reading a Jane Austen novel in an action game? But because it allows this opportunity, and you can play against type, and it really just creates something truly fun and special. So I'm really fucking excited about it.
We free America.
It comes out August 20th on a 360 PC, PS3, and you're not ready.
And we free the whole fucking planet.
I should have realized a prison of peace would never hold a sociopath like yourself.
I'm more of a puckish rogue.